Oh, the champ. Okay, we got a little. Hey, friend.
Ah, you saw that. You
Yes,
saw
I
that.
did see Miss Fran Harris came up there. How are you, girl? The champ.
This meeting is This meeting is being broadcast on Facebook Live.
Awesome.
I guess.
So we all up, going live.
See
Still
it yet on
printing.
mine.
I'm gonna put this up here and then I'll tag you guys in a minute. But this is awesome. So we already on and you know, welcome to Sunday Brunch, my crew. I'm so happy we got my guy Vid back, on the stage with us today, giving us the 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 perspective of what's going on down there in Florida. I got my girl coming to the stage. She gonna have to unmute herself. I was trying to be quick, but we were talking a little bit, and so I really wanted her to hop in here when we were already going. You know, unmute yourself.
I
You
did,
and
I think.
uh, can we? Yeah, I
Yeah,
see
I can
you. Can
hear.
you
Can you hear me?
unmute yourself as well? Um, and we're gonna keep it moving. I want to tag Tamika and those guys on here anyway, because they're not gonna be on the show today. So we'll keep it moving. But welcome to Sunday Brunch, you guys. I appreciate you coming on the show. We got we got Virginia Penny Tola on the show, and I'm gonna be honest with you. They were killing me over here, champ. They were killing me over here with this stuff. I can't. I had to break it up. So I was like, yo, who can I bring on here? I gotta bring somebody in here from the
Hmm.
few comments to give them the business. So welcome
Hmm.
to the stage. Welcome to the stage, friend. How you doing?
I'm doing well. My finger's a little heavy with this first WNBA championship ring, but other than that, I'm chilling.
Oh no,
Good.
you didn't. No, you didn't. You didn't do
You're gonna make
that.
me get up out my seat and go get. You're gonna make me get up my seat and go get my three. You're gonna make me go get my three.
That's how it's supposed to be. That's right. That's how it's supposed to be.
But it
Oh
ain't nothing
my
Oh
like the
my
first
God.
one, the very first one, huh?
Yeah, baby. Yeah. Never forget your first. Never forget your first.
Like I'll
For
never
sure.
forget that first basket.
yes.
There you go. No, so Goody, I got here. I thought a little bit late. I thought I was actually late, but you were making my grand entrance for me.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I said. So she already took the sip. So let's go on and put up the toast, for to kick off the 10th edition of Sunday Brunch. We got to bring it, so everybody toasting it up.
Yep,
I
here's
know you
y'all.
guys today the other
Everybody.
two goodies angels, they decided that they were going to go be on the lake and on the beach today. So I already gave Meek the business about going to the beach and stuff like that. But she said that she's gonna practice social distancing, so I had to leave it at that, But I'm sure she will. But I wanted to tag her on everything anyway, so even if she's sitting on the beach and she decided that she wanted to sign in from down there the New Jersey shore, she could come on in. So, I want to give just a brief introduction to, Fran Harris, to all of the people that are out there who really don't know about these hook'em horns. Boy, I tell you, the hardest arena to play in drive you crazy down there. You got the whole audience down there, hook'em horns, and
Yep.
when they greet you, it's always hook'em horns. And actually, we won a national championship in Austin, which is a absolutely awesome city. The best steak in America. Um, you were a part of that team that had the perfect season. And
Yep.
if I'm correct, it was 97. Not to date you, 34-0,
Go ahead.
34
Pick
and
about to say 86. It was 86.
okay. So bottom line is there hasn't been too many people that have been able to do that. UConn, they could stand up, but that's hard to deal with. USA basketball, WNBA, the first championship ever, in the WNBA. Oh, I don't know how long Penny gonna sit there and take that, okay? Because I know
You're
she
lucky.
gonna
I'm
win.
gonna have to go get my threes.
Penny getting ready to get up, okay? Penny getting ready to get up and go get something. I'm telling you,
Totally.
I'm gonna have to get my
She ain't gonna
three.
sit there.
I'm gonna have to go get my three.
Yep. Yep. I fully expect Penny to say, "Show that ring one more time. Show that ring one more time." And I'm going to give my
And this ring gonna go blank, and I'm gonna go get them rings, and I'm gonna come on back.
bling, rings and bling. Go get it, baby. So listen.
Matter
Listen,
of fact, I'm gonna
that's
go
what
get
I'm
my rings.
saying.
I'll be right back, Goody. Be
Bring on.
right back.
I can't. I knew it. I told you. I told you. I said I was gonna make this show exciting. I had to bring it. I had to do. I had to do the comments first. The sports, and then I'm jumping in there, man, because we knocked y'all. We dethroned y'all. So, Houston. Anybody that's on here that's WNBA, and I'm getting ready to go on my phone so I can see the comments, and
Yeah.
Vid, I tagged you, so put it live on your page if you don't mind. And so, it's just funny because I just had to do it. You know, being in the presence of those two, I gotta, I don't mind taking a back seat. I really don't. But I was like, what? I gotta get them. I gotta get them.
That's a good host.
They sitting here always sharing stories. So I wanted to, just look, wait. She came back with camera. A little piece of her body. You
Bling,
saw a little
bling,
piece. She
bling, bling, bling,
probably.
bling. Bling, 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 bling.
Oh. Oh, I hate it. I hate
I don't
it.
know. I don't know. What?
I don't know. I
I
don't know
don't
what to
know.
do. She doesn't know what to do. I mean, they got blings and rings and things.
And
I had to
Pinky,
go. I just said, let me go
you know what
get
I'm
blinged
saying?
up. Let me go get blinged up. So that look good there. Look good there, my friend. I'm with you. Nothing like a
Oh,
championship.
No, that is
nothing,
hilarious. So
nothing like
Penny,
it.
so Goody though, you got to ask Penny how long it took her to get that first ring.
Oh.
And in the world, Goody, it goes like this. It doesn't matter how long I took to get the first one. I have three.
I can't. I
Only thing that
can't.
matters is you have one,
Oh.
two. Here go two and
One or three.
Oh.
three.
Yo, the middle one, the one in the middle is puffy. Which
Puppy.
one is that one? Which one is the middle one? That's sick.
That's sick though.
That's
That's
the
crazy.
that's the 2016 one. That was the last one. But actually, my
Yeah,
favorite is the first one
the
because
first one.
I know you can't see the detail on it, but it's really, I don't know if I can show it to you. It's really, really unique, the design.
Mm,
And it's platinum. So it's like kind of
nice.
heavy. But if you see all the designs and stuff on it, it's really, really nice. I think, Houston with Fran and everybody, the rings have just been upgraded on far as what they
Totally.
look like. I actually saw Washington's ring the other day, and I thought they did a incredible, awesome job on
Yeah,
it when
they
I
did.
saw it. It's a beautiful, beautiful ring. And, like Fran would tell you, just to get one, we're grateful. Just to have one, you're grateful. Because in the words of Jerry West, one time he told me, if you can win one ring, that's one more than everybody else they got. A lot of other people won't
Yeah.
even have one.
Yep.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. You know,
But Goody, next time I'm gonna get you because when you bring somebody on with some rings, you got to give me the heads up.
yo,
No,
yo.
it was
I
worth
just
it
feel
to see your face, Penny.
yeah,
That's why Goody
right,
did it
listen, that's
because she's like,
exactly.
when you see that face, it's gonna be all competitors. Penny going to get those rings. She leaving the show to go
We
get
got
those
'em.
rings.
But you know what, Fran? When you came up, did you see how excited? I was
I
so excited to see
did.
you.
I
I was like, oh
did.
my God, it's Fran. So yeah, always loved you, girl. Always loved
Oh,
you.
big respect, definitely. Mm. So what we getting ready to be petty about, Goody?
Say that again. Say that again.
What we about to be petty about? Give me the topics. What we gonna be petty about?
Absolutely, I'm telling you, just from last week, our topics have been so hot, and I'm so happy and I'm glad to be in the forefront. We are definitely in the forefront with a lot of these topics that are coming out, and Penny and I were laughing about this going back and forth. You know, when like I'm in New Jersey on my walk, and she's out in Cali on her walk, and we just going back and forth. And we've had topics all the way from just the fact that the women are gonna be on 500 acres at the IMG Elite Training Facility, and their circumstances are different than the men. The women have a 92-page protocol. The men have a 100-page protocol. And I think that's because of the difference in the gender, and the fact that we all do different things differently. We talked about, and tomorrow, the fact that the women have to report tomorrow, and the difference between the women and the men, and we're going to elaborate on this, is the fact that when the women go into the bubble, and this is what scares me, when the women go into the bubble, it's good for us because we're not going to be allowed to come out. They already tell you go in a bubble, you don't come out. All right. With the men, they go in their bubble and it's free reign. They can come and go, and I don't think that that's the way that they should operate, because now you're putting them in a grave situations, because not everybody's going to be responsible. We're going to elaborate on that because we have to, and just talking about the housing situations to the coaches with the +1 situation, and the vets. You got to be, have to be 6-year vet in order to get that +1, and to have that privilege, and the lotteries for practice, 3 days playing games, and always to stuff that's tedious as far as the laundry schedule is concerned, and everything has to be on point. And so since we've talked about so many different things, I've seen Kenny the Jet on, talking about how concerned he is with, 22 teams going into Orlando, in a hotbed, which is where Vid is, and he can give us a better perspective on that. That's why I'm glad that he's on the call and talk about that type of environment. To Candace Parker opting in, when there were 9 players that have opted out, maybe more by now. We've had 18 NBA players, maybe 19, and the number may have grown. I stand corrected, who, prior to even going into the bubble, there's 19 of them who tested positive. DeAndre can't go in. And so, let's start off with this, because I think that this is really interesting. I'm reading, because this is on NBA, and I'm not quoting from anything that's not already out there. NBA on ESPN. Okay, they put this up on Dame Time, Dame Dime. Okay, and he says, my confidence ain't great because you're telling me you're going to have 22 teams full of players following all the rules when we have 100% freedom and everybody don't follow the rules. I don't have much confidence. Let's start there. Go ahead, Penny.
Well, it's interesting because it's just like that's like a normal situation. Everybody's down there in the bubble to play, but it's actually like a normal situation, like being at home. You can elect to go out or not to go out. I think we all know when there is no boundaries and you have that many people, there are going to be a lot of people that don't follow the rules. That's a lot of people. Um, it's just the nature of the beast. You're gonna have some people to go out. I don't know if you saw Stephen A. as well on First Take when he was even talking about, when he was referring to the men. He was like, okay, you have all these young guys, these rookies and men. What about going out, getting girls and, being normal in the environment? He said, do you seriously think that these young men, these athletes that's full of life, are not going to be going out and bringing girls in, and what the rest is? It's going to happen. And unfortunately, with that situation, you know, the chances go up that somebody could catch COVID-19. It's a situation where I said last week, look at the smart ring that is supposed to detect pre-corona symptoms that was offered to the NBA. I was trying to figure out how come I never heard that offered to the female players. And then the joke of the matter was that some of the NBA players were like, "Well, I don't want to wear that ring. It can track me and detect where I'm at." And I was kind of confused. I'm like, "Is the goal is to play the season, stay healthy, and come back safe, or worry about being tracked?" If that right there showed me where your thought process was, because that wouldn't have been my thought. I would have been like, "Oh wow, give me one of those smart rings." I guarantee you, if you offer to the girls, to the women, they're going to say, "Give me one of those rings," because wouldn't I like to know if there's a chance that it could be detected before I catch COVID-19 to have it prevented. That's not going to be a woman's thought. And I thought it was kind of lame, because if you didn't want to really be tracked, just take the ring off. It's not like the ring is permanent on your finger, but it showed me where their mind was at. Not all of them, but the ones that were saying that. So, it needs to go to say, if there are no boundaries, there are going to be rules that are broken. And unfortunately, yeah, COVID-19 will show up in Florida. And especially with Florida being a hotbed right now, with what, triple the amount of people affected right now? Your mic.
We can't hear you, Goody.
Yeah, absolutely. My bad. I try to mute so this way if there's any background noise. I wanted you to elaborate on that, champ.
I think it has to be like military, because the crazy thing is that you've got people, you've assembled all these guys there who have different opinions and perceptions about Corona in general. So you got some people, whether they're saying it or not, saying, "I don't even think this is a thing. Therefore, I'm going to do whatever I want to do. I just want to play," and not giving a damn about who else is, going to get affected by all that. You got that. And I think it has to be more than a protocol. I think it has to be a mandate, right? Like a protocol to me sounds like I got a choice. But if the league says, if you come into camp, here are the rules. If you break them, there's penalties, there's fines, there's all of that. And I don't know, I haven't read the manifest, I haven't read the protocol, but I don't know that that's a part of it. And I think it is, in many cases, a life and death kind of thing, even for people who are not taking it as seriously. And so whether it's a woman or the guys, the NBA or the WNBA, to me, we need to change the language from, if you're going to be up in here, here are the things you have to do. And if you don't do these things, we coming into your cheese, we getting in your pocket, whatever it takes to get full compliance. Right? Because we know if we just make a suggestion, and we all know this from being athletes, and then Penny from you from being in management, if I suggest something, I got a choice in it. If y'all say, here is what it is, and then I'm going to cut into your paper, then I'm going to think about it differently.
Okay. Absolutely. I agree with you 100% because, you have players quoting and talking about the fact that they don't want to leave their money on the table. And that's why a lot of them are there. Not all of them are making the same salaries. Mm-hmm. Not all of them are out there with Kyrie making millions and millions of dollars. Some of them need that money because of their lifestyles. Yep. So, Vid, I mean, you're down there in the hotbed, okay? I would love for you to elaborate on, what your perspective is, because you're down there in Florida. And, we were just talking about this before we even went live, that the fact that you guys were only in quarantine for 2 weeks. So it's become a lifestyle for you guys.
I mean, yeah, it's like almost normal for us. So when we talk about the difference between where the ladies are at and where the men are at, I mean, Bradenton is not really much out there. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not, most of those people come over to Tampa to have fun or whatnot, or Sarasota, right? But you putting these men in Orlando, one, with a free for all, you know what I mean? You can do whatever, basically. It's up to their discretion. It's a tourist spot, and it's not far from Tampa as well. We're one of the hot spots. You know what I mean? So, I think by human instinct, if you give somebody a choice to make, they're going to do what they want to do. You know what I mean? And who really wants to be on lockdown, right? I mean, especially young men and women, you know what I mean? But especially young men, right? And you got the restaurants open, you got some of the bars open, you got shopping centers and everything open, they're not just going to be at Disney, the Disney Sportsplex, and just staying out there. They're going to go travel to Universal, down to Tampa, to the beaches, to Cocoa Beach, and they're going to be more susceptible of spreading it or contacting it. And once they get it, you got your plus one, but then we also know your plus one is it multiplies. You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
more people you're in contact with. So I don't think the governor, Florida's governor, is helping in any of this. Penny and I was talking before the show. It's definitely a business angle. He doesn't want to implement statewide mass usage or closing businesses. He said he would not reopen businesses. But what did that tell you when we only had 2 weeks of shutdown?
Yeah.
I mean, that means that most businesses, although not at a full capacity, are still open, And so, again, bringing it all back, when you have these players having it's up to them to either stay in or go out. We all know how that is. Who wants to be in a house or apartment or wherever 7 straight days? Go to practice, go play a game or whatever. I think the NBA is really missing the ball on that by not implementing mandatory guidelines, being in a bubble as the WNBA players are over at IMG. And, I don't know what else to say. We'll just wait and see how this all turns out.
Well, let me ask a question, and Goody, I'll throw this at you before everybody else jumps in. Why in the world, as an employer, if your organization is the most impacted community by this disease, we know Black folks and brown folks are just like most things are dying and being affected way more than anybody else. I'm an employer where most of my employees are Black or brown. Why wouldn't I mandate this? We gonna wipe us out? Like, is there a conspiracy? What, seriously? If I'm that's crazy to me.
It looks real funny. It really does, and I don't really want to elaborate too much on it, but it does. It looks funny to especially to former players and us out here looking at it like, wow, now it's really just about that dollar. It really just seems to be about that dollar. They don't want to lose that TV money. If they lose that TV money, then they lose the Lord's portion. Now you can't even now the contracts that you signed, you may have to default on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of this is based on TV. A lot of this is based on money, and they're not looking at it from a humanistic standpoint at all. So if you're going to have it, and all of this, these guys have got to have a curfew. It's not even a curfew, excuse me. These guys cannot. Once you go into the situation,
Yeah.
you can't go roaming around to Cocoa Beach and go into. You need to stay exactly where you are. And this is the thing. Dame even said it. We have 100% freedom.
Right.
Like, why would you do that? You know that people are irresponsible like that.
Yeah.
And then when they don't offer the women the rings, this is really, really bothering me. We touched upon this last week. It's like, why is it that we can't have what they have? And why does it have to be that way, where we always have to, rob Peter to pay Paul? To get...
And to add no, I was also going to say, and to add to that, which baffles me, like we all know, when you're dealing with the minority of us, like the champ Fran Harris just said, us being brown people, where it affects us the most. How come, we all know this besides Vid, who's not a female, why is there one set of rules for the women and another set of rules for the men? When the reality of it is, the goal is supposed to keep everyone safe.
Yeah.
So if everyone is supposed to be safe, why is it that when the girls enter the bubble, they can't come out, but yet the guys have total freedom to roam around and do whatever they want to do? And we all know that how you say it's like we all know it's going to happen. I hate to say it because it's just like we're saying, if you can't monitor it, or like Fran said, take some of that cheese,
Mm-hmm.
get in those pockets, because that's the reason everybody's there anyway. And cheese
Yep.
is, enough for the people who don't know what cheese is, money. That's why everybody's there anyway to try to make money. But I don't understand it. And because here are the elements right here, and it's sort of going to be the same elements that the women are going to face, but at least the women are controlled in terms of you can't go out. Okay, the men have total freedom. Now the other element that you have to throw in there that we're not even talking about. Okay, who's keeping stats? You got the statisticians. The officials are not in the bubble. I haven't heard anything about the officials being in the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
So now on the men's side,
Tell
it's a free for all. Where at least on the women's side, you might can test at least the officials. I don't know what they're doing about the statisticians. I'm sure you're still going to have some security, And then the elephant in the house, or say the animal that really can get you. You know what that is? And here's the animal that causes the most danger. If someone's asymptomatic,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
they can test negative when you first test them.
Yep.
And in a week, all of a sudden, they show up and they have COVID-19. And now everybody that they came in contact with has to be tested.
Mm-hmm.
So the men's environment, it really, no, it's like we're saying, it's all about the almighty dollar. There really isn't that much safety involved. You're putting everyone on the honor system. And we all know the more numbers you deal with, the more chances the honor system will be broken. On the women's side, at least you're in the bubble, you have to stay, but you still have the statisticians, you have the officials, you have the people all the other people that are on campus. You may have 5,000 acres, but what about those other people that are roaming around? The people that got to go wash the clothes, I'm sure they're coming in contact with somebody else. And we all know that, okay, how am I eating? Uber Eats, or people going to be delivered in because there is no cafeteria there for the women. So, am I going to come in contact with that person? There's just a lot of intangibles. But at the end, not to be long-winded, yeah, the women always have a different set of rules than the men. Free for all and a controlled environment.
I don't know
And
if y'all have brothers. Yeah, I don't know if
and
y'all have brothers or not, but or cousins who have their female and male in the family. But it was like the girl always had like a 9:30 curfew, and my brother was like, I'll roll in like at 1 or 2, and it was like, wait a minute, I thought we had what? Wait, what? Like, what's going on? Like 9:30, and he coming in at 1:30? It's the same thing. It's like we just let the guys do whatever the hell they want to do. And then the women, got to be on lockdown. But the other thing is, do we think that the women are sneaking out? Because it's one thing, like if we just give them freedom, we know they're going to do it anyway. But then are the people who are on, some kind of, they're sequestered, are they doing it? And we just don't think they're doing it because they're sneaking out? Like, I ain't trying to get nobody in trouble, but if I was going to go out, I mean, I'm having straight face in practice, but I'm like, yeah, I was out there last night, and only me and my girl know this. Like, only a couple people know about it. So, do we think the women are complying? Is what I'm saying. Do we think the women are being as compliant as they need to be?
Well, I know.
I think we all know that women follow rules a lot more. I'm not saying that you might not have one or two of those, but women will follow. Vid, I hate to tell you that, but women will follow the rules. The majority,
well,
not all, but the
I'll say
majority.
this. I'll say this, not even from like a man-woman standpoint. Being at IMG in Bradenton, even if you want to break the rules, there ain't nothing going on in Bradenton. I'm just being honest. I mean,
Yeah, you got 500
you
acres, man. You can go do whatever the heck you want and not see nobody.
well, but you're on IMG. You know what I mean? Like I'm talking about
Yeah.
leaving a facility of IMG, ain't nothing going on. You know what I mean? I don't want to downplay it.
Outside the
I'm
walls.
talking about, yeah. But I do want to ask this, and it's more for the NBA, WNBA, and others. But has anybody thought about if a player, while they're contracted COVID, what happens then? Because you automatically, anybody that you're in contact with is automatically on a 14-day quarantine.
Whole team.
You
So,
know what I
and that's
mean?
what
Whole
Charles
team,
Barkley
whole.
talked about. You know, they were
Well,
talking
and
about
maybe
they
the
did.
other team as well, whoever you
Hmm.
just
Yeah.
played against
So,
as
you know,
well.
Charles and Kenny gave it a 60, they gave it a 60-40 chance. And I think that that was high. That this is all, it's going to go all the way to the end. You know,
Mm.
because as long as they're going to let people outside of this bubble, and as long as there's people that can live outside of this bubble and function outside of this bubble, like the hotel workers, there's always going to be a possibility that somebody can catch something. So if they're going to do anything, they need to really make a correction with, you know, if you guys are going to be here, then you have to be committed to staying inside of the bubble. If you don't, just like Penny said, there's going to be, you know, a penalty to pay. Now this is DeMar, and this was his quote. He said, "The ping pong thing is ridiculous, to be honest. Guys can't do this, but we can do this and battle over each other. That part just doesn't make sense to me. I got to page 10, you know, I got through 10 lines of the handbook and just put it down because it became so frustrating and overwhelming at times. Now, this is a 100-page health and safety manual. So you get to page 10 and you ready to throw it out. All right? So, like, seriously, you know, like you're making there's too many rules. There's a such thing as, you know, you got too many rules, you know, so that something's going to be broken. And, you know, all of these different scenarios, like people are really, really concerned from the people that are, you know, that can't afford it, like players like, you know, Van Vliet, who's saying, hey, listen, you know, none of us want to give any money back. And I don't think that
Right.
we should. So now you're putting yourself in risk because of that, because you need money. So, you know, all across the board. But the saddest thing I read, and how about this, you know, turning into your retirement, you know, as a WNBA player. And I just read this at like early in the morning this morning. You know, Bridget Pettis, you know, she steps away from the WNBA to focus on her community. And here's her reasons, you know, and I'm watching her all last week just post up pictures, like
Hmm.
crazy pictures. Love this one, love that one. And I'm saying, okay, you know we got mad love in the league, you know, but there was a purpose in it. And it was for this right here. Bridget Pettis is stepping away from the WNBA with her most recent role as assistant coach of the Chicago Sky. And of course, she was in Phoenix for a long time amidst increasing health concerns for players and social unrest around the country. Okay, she's going to focus on her nonprofit Project Roots Arizona. It's a 501c3 that's educating people on how to grow their own food. She's got, you know, in various educational programs, which is awesome, shelter and everything like this. And here's her reason. Okay, and we discussed this, and it's gonna go to those rings. All right, it's gonna go back. That's where it's gonna go, Penny. So keep your mind on that. Okay, she said, I asked a lot, and this is how we get bit. You know, there's two different WNBA players. Okay,
Mm.
it's the one that's going shut up and play. That does exist. Shut up and play. So when the president said that, you let these players get offended all you want to, because there are players that shut up and play, and then
Yep.
you got us. You know, and I'm in this category. All right, then there's us. All right, and
Yep.
we get pushed to the side. So, you know, we opening up a whole lot of cans of worms, and we just gonna put it out there. I got a show, and I'm just gonna talk about it. So, you know, either let us in or you gonna hear it. Okay, I asked a lot of questions, and that's not, and not too many people were happy about it. This is how she opened up. I asked a
Hmm.
lot of questions, and not too many people are happy about it. I discovered that some medical staff of teams not only believe it's not safe, but also the women don't have enough resources. Do I need to read that again? The women don't have enough resources, okay,
Right.
as the NBA do going into their bubble. You know, and this is our issue, okay? And if the WNBA cannot upgrade the situation even more with safety, I feel the WNBA should wait and play the following season. Why put ourselves and players in Florida, you know, as cases increase? That's
T-shirt for sale. T-shirt for sale after this. Women lives matter. Women lives matter. I mean, it's
I'm
really
about the movement. I'm
Well,
standing there with a black fist.
totally,
We're
totally.
making whatever we need to do, and it's just absolutely crazy. And I'm gonna go to, there's some people out here asking some questions, and I love it when they do. We love it when you're watching, but we love it even more when you ask us questions. And we got Hoop Nation out there, and it says, and that's for the girls, if you all were playing in the WNBA now, would you be all in for the players in the bubble? We'll start with you, champ, since you were talking last. Would you be
Um,
a part of this bubble?
no, I would not play. I would be, championing, social justice, leveraging this time to make the world better for when we do come back and play. And or if like my girls were like, come on, we need you to play, we need your voice inside the bubble, then I would be doing some of the stuff you read in the article, which is like, I got the white glove out, let me see the code, let me make sure everything is up to code before I put my life in danger along with my girls. And so I would either totally not play and just be out there with the flag and doing all that stuff, raising hell, or if I thought there was a way we actually could get it done, but it's got to be completely transparent, above board. Everybody, I mean, like people wouldn't enjoy it the way I would want it because it would be like a military boot camp. But if that's going to save lives and we're going to get to play longer later, then why don't we all do this, right? Because I'm about the longevity of our game, not, right now for this 50 G's that I'm getting this summer. Like, let's make sure we can, like, I can build wealth later on, so and that we can be here living to play in the WNBA 20, 30 years from now.
Come on, godmother.
like from the jump, you heard what I said. I think there was an opportunity, like when we were talking about the money in the beginning. I think that I would have probably, I can tell you right now, I wouldn't have been in the bubble. Only because I think that my life is worth more than the money that they're making. I thought that, and I don't want to call anybody out because I know everybody's trying to do their best, but I'm just going to make my statement and say it. I felt that the WNBA, the WNBPA, the Players Association, as well as ESPN, who support the league and all the teams, they missed a golden opportunity to truly show that they support women in sports. They could have paid all the players their money and let them all participate on their platforms. I give a big shout out to Converse that when Natasha Cloud elected opt out to play WNBA contract. They could have revamped like they need to revamp and came back with some good marketing, and they could have used all the players' voices to market the league, to get on the same page with all the social justice issues. This is why I was an advocate before. If they were going to go there, they need to be paid all their money, not contingent on finishing the games, because women in sports, we matter. We matter. And just to go and play 22 games and put my life on the line, no, it's not worth the max salary of $250,000. They could have paid the women that and put every woman possible that wanted to be on a platform to have their voice heard and be seen. Natasha Cloud, now she plays in the WNBA. They still could have got viewership. They could have maximized the league talent without having to put the women at risk. And like Fran said, and like you said, Goody, okay, I haven't heard about the smart rings. I heard all the way up until this week and this morning that
Absolutely.
from agents and from players that people still don't know, okay, we're going to be tested. What's the protocol? You still had a lot of players saying, are we going to have this? Nobody told me what the health concerns were. Then you limit the number of people or then you limit the number of staff that can go in the bubble. Then whatever you had as far as on the doctor staff, you need to double up and triple up, right along with, as I've always said for the last couple of weeks, when you go in a situation like this where, people get cabin fever, gonna want to go out. I still think you could have invested in some psychiatrists to go in there with you, because the difference is You can have a psychiatrist on the screen and you can shut them down or say you're too busy. But it's easier if you have psychiatrists, people with mental health, because that's real. That's real in sports nowadays. And life coaches, you need to take those into the bubble because guess what? Every team ain't gonna be winning, and there are gonna be some problems when teams are not winning. People are gonna be pissed. Stuff ain't gonna go right. Do you know? And when I'm talking to my friend's gonna agree with me. But if I got all these resources that are actually in the bubble too, if I'm going, at least I can walk over and have a private conversation face to face, not via we can provide that via the computer. Yeah, and as a player, I can turn it off, or I can tell you that I'm okay, and you can believe me because you're not sitting in front of me. So no, I wouldn't have went in the bubble. I think that they could have paid all the players their money. They could have got a sponsor to sponsor this, and I'm sure people will be like, "Oh, that's easier said than done," Penny told her. Remember, I know you're saving a lot of money by playing in one space. ESPN don't have to set up around the world. They got 22 games. If you were playing in the regular season, 34, we already knew that, okay, out of 34, 17 was going to be on the road, so you're going to have to pay for that anyway. So you're only adding a couple more games that you're going to be paid for. ESPN doesn't have to move. They don't have to use multiple crews, so they're saving a lot of money there. I would have just paid the players, and I would have went out on a limb and said, we support women in sports. We want to keep the moms, the sisters, the aunts, we want to keep them safe. And we're just going to do a serious marketing campaign to maximize our players to put them in as many areas as we can to still keep the WNBA viable. So, I know that was a long answer. No, I wouldn't have played. I would have opted out.
Yeah,
It's just not worth it.
I mean, it just, they spent $800,000 for each team to pull this off. In the WNBA, that's the salary.
Well, and you got to realize too, and like I said,
like, come on,
remember,
like, we're making all this money, you guys.
well,
So,
and also, Goody, remember this. I was an executive vice president, general manager, which means I know the business as well. That ESPN last year gave each team more than $1 million to televise those games. There's the players' money right there.
There's the
And they're
players' money.
saving, and all the money that's being saved, because realize now that you're staying in housing, you may be paying something. I'm sure they got a deal on that. I'm sure they went in and got a price on that. So you're not paying for rental cars. The players don't have the rental cars. You're not paying for bus transportation to and from the airport to the gym. You're not paying for player housing back at home. It's a whole bunch of things that you're not paying for that you could have just paid the players, and it would have been easier just for them to stay home and maximize their talent. Get the top players, get the rookies, get some of the other players that people want to hear from. I mean, it could have been a huge campaign. Don't get me wrong. And other people are going to say, well, they can still do that now while they're playing. Of course they can. But at the same time, I'm sitting in my living room watching them put their lives on the line. Don't they have a right to be safe as well?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with it 100%. I mean, we always in agreement, over here, from the former players' perspective, and I, a lot of times I'll sit and I listen to you and you be like, I'm challenging this world. Well, today I'm a challenger. I'm challenging Terry to come on this show. I'm challenging all of them to come on the show. Come on the show and give us your take. We're not over here bashing you. We're not doing that. We're for WNBA players that, out here passionate about what we do. And giving a different perspective from it, And I just wanted to be known that this isn't a bash party. Sunday brunch isn't a bash party. We over here with our perspectives, and we bring a lot to the table. We bring a lot to the forefront, and I know that every now and then they reach out to you, Penny. So if they want to reach out, they can reach out in regards to that. Come on the show. Come on Sunday brunch. Let us know. How can we partner? We've talked about all types of things, behind the scenes and things that we could bring to the table. But it seems like they don't want to hear our take.
Well, it's just like I said last week, and I always want to reiterate because the bottom line is I really want to say this. Everybody is trying to put their best foot forward to make this happen. But
Absolutely.
that's why I said, being a general manager for 20 years, I also thought for the women perspective, when they went into the bubble, that they should have allowed all the coaches to elect another 10 to 15 players that would also go into the bubble. That if someone got hurt, the player is already in the bubble. So these are the 15 people because the coaches elected the next
All
best
the right.
15 that we know they're going to be injuries. They're going to be injuries because someone's going to get, unfortunately, I hope that no one gets sick, but they're going to be injuries. They're going to be people that are going to get cut. So you have 15 people that are already in the bubble. So now you don't have to reach out and bring someone in that, once again, that could be asymptomatic and get everybody sick, right?
Exactly.
But I know everybody's trying to do their best, and I support the league because it has to be there. I just think that a bigger statement could have been made by saying, we're going to play next year, and we're going to support women basketball, and we're going to play all these ladies their salary. Now, in saying that, I want to say some positive things that if they are going to play, I'm going to be watching them. I'm going to support them, and I'm going to
Most
watch and
definitely.
I'm going to support because I don't know if this is Sue Bird's last year or Diana Taurasi that's coming back. Players that are amazing players that, I think are going to be fun to watch. I think they're great leaders, and, it's going to be a lot of people in there that's going to bring a lot of energy. And of course, I want to see how it goes. I'm still going to support the league, but I just think a bigger message would have been sent, like, we're going to pay you and we're going to figure it out, and we're still going to maximize our voice a different way. I just think we might have missed that boat right there.
Yeah.
Hey, Goody, let me throw this question out to the group, Goody, because I've been talking to some current WNBA players about this. What do y'all think about the fact that some of the stars have opted out? What opportunities do you think that presents for the ones that are there? So some people who may have been in the shadows
Yes,
now
yes,
can
yes.
come out of the shadows. That's what's exciting about it. If I'm gonna take the danger away and just say, okay, I'm gonna support the league that I played in and that I want to be here when I'm gone. If I just take that negative potential slant out of it and just go, look at the opportunity that some players have because some of the stars are not playing. What do y'all think of that?
Yeah, I think, and I think that's awesome, and I was, because I look around at, a lot of different pages, WNBA pages, on Instagram and stuff like that. And I really, over the years, it's been 23 years, you guys. Over the years, I really wish that they would do a better job marketing, you know, and getting these players' faces out there because they've always been accustomed to, and I don't get this. But you always putting the same faces out there, providing opportunity for the same faces when there's other faces out there, and this is a great time, where the WNBA should use this platform this year, to get those faces out there of those players that people are not so familiar with, and of course you got to play as well. You got, your faces out there, you got to have some game with that face too. You got to earn that as well. So I'm not taking it away from those players that earn their keep and like, hey, you're getting a couple of perks because you're putting it out there on the floor and you're doing work. But like I said, like really that would be awesome, for them to really use this platform to make people become familiar with some other faces, and it which also it leads me to another concern, and we can talk about this as well. Just the television. What platforms are going to actually be streaming these games? It's like we always get stuck in one or two platforms. I'd love to see us on more platforms instead of on ESPN and ESPNW, or where you can expect to see. Like, do we have other companies that are out there putting us on other platforms? Because it's not always all about TV now. We're getting away from TV. We could be on internet. Where streaming is the highest right now anyway. you know. So, Penny, I know we all get long-winded because we're passionate about what we do and what we talk about, and so you think about somebody says one thing and then it's a segue to something else. And I'm glad, that Candace did decide to opt in, and that was big. And the WNBA needed to hear something like that because we had 9 players and probably 6 or 7 of them were heavy hitters on their team say, I'm not playing. They had to have somebody come in, like a Candace Parker, and save the day. Because it couldn't have been anybody else.
Well, you had a lot of other players that were already in. Elena Deladon was in. You
Yeah.
still have Nneka Ogwumike. Let's not forget Sylvia Fowles. Then you had the two goats and the two biggest in the league. You have Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, Brittany Griner. You had a lot of players that were already in saving the day. And without these players, it wouldn't be a league. You can look on every team, and I love the question that Fran threw out there about other players rising now, but I do think we need to do a better, just skipping back to the other question, of promoting some of these other players. And this is why you have to promote them. Let the fans choose who they want to. This is why when I was at the Sparks organization, I made sure on those tickets that people have when we were doing tickets. We went the last year. We went away from tickets because people could just have a pass and get in because everything's electronic now. But when we were doing players on tickets, I made sure that every player was on that ticket.
Right.
Like that their face got to be shown. And then the other tickets would be multiple people that not just your stars, but people that were at the end of the bench because you don't win without them as well. But yeah, you have to promote the league better. I think that you're gonna get to see some new faces, and it's gonna be nice. But I'm also gonna look forward to seeing some of the old faces as well. But getting back to the original question, yeah, Candace opted in, but you forgot Sue Bird was already in, Diana Taurasi was in, Brittany Griner was in, Elena Deladon was in, Courtney Vandersloot was in. Then you have it's so many great players, and I'm sure everybody's. I mean, look at who's coming back. Brianna Stewart's coming back. She's in. Angel McCarthy, people who haven't seen in 2 years, she's in. So it's still going to be a very, very exciting league, And unfortunately, Liz Campbell just said she was out, But it's still. I always say there are always going to be players, stars that replace stars. And it's always, the WNBA is always going to be here, just like the NBA is always going to be here. It's still going to be fun to watch. I just hope that, getting back to my original thing, where every player has to understand that the league has done the best that they done now. It's up to the players to follow the rules, keep themselves safe as well as someone else safe in order to pull this off this year. It's on the players.
Look, also to extend that, think about this. We're talking about the WNBA only playing whatever, half a third of the year. Think about the college game. Think about what the colleges are going through right now, because that's who's going to be playing next year. How crazy is it that we got to also be thinking about what are these college student athletes doing? Everything we've said about the pros is even more so for them. They're even crazier because they're living a social connected world. Like they ain't staying in, they having pool parties, they doing all this, and you're just like, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? So then are they going to have a season? That's the other thing. Good. That would be good to have somebody on, like in a college, talking about, are they going to get to have a season? And then it's just going to be.
And you can't put them in the bubble.
Yes, exactly.
You can't put them in the bubble. You can't put them in the bubble.
It's crazy. So, and
you cannot put them in the bubble.
Right.
Again, and if you're talking about economics,
they put them in the bubble. Yeah, it's crazy.
And if you're talking about economics at the college level, they're about to be hit hard, and that's why a lot of coaches have been having to take salary cuts. You notice in college they've been laying off staff. That's a whole different category.
Whole different thing that impacts us. Yeah, it impacts the leagues. Impacts the rookies coming in. Impacts the folks who are going to be coming in the graduating class. Like, how good are they going to get to be in college that last year? Because we don't even know if they're going to get to play.
Yeah.
Another thing we need to touch on, Goody, as far as the WNBA that we haven't talked about. We talked about it in the past when, I brought up about we're still just talking players. We're not talking coaches. Look at Dan Hughes. Dan Hughes opted out this week to not go with his team, and I understand why. He just had a bout with cancer.
Yeah.
You have Mike Tebow Bill Lambier,
Coach
Marianne
Stanley.
Stanley. You have so many coaches
Yeah.
that are in that category of if they get infected, it could be the end. And
Hmm.
this is what's so troubling about this. And I get it that everybody needs their money, and the men, they're making millions. The women are
Yep.
not making millions.
Yep.
This is why we could have
Different.
this is where I say we missed the mark on, hey, let's pay the women, put them on platforms, and the word still gets out. Because look at it now, Natasha Cloud is more known now than she ever was.
Mm.
Renee Montgomery. These are players that some people never heard of, but
Yeah.
they're known now. And it wasn't because of a basketball. It's because of what they stood up for. And it's just one of those things where it could have been huge what Converse is doing for Natasha Cow paying that salary if we could have found a way to pay for the women's salaries. I guarantee if you probably were to even go over there to the men's NBA league and be like, hey, women ain't gonna play this year. You guys, anybody want to sponsor, help and support the women while they're not playing to keep them safe? They're not making millions. I don't want nobody to lose their mom, their
Mhm.
sister, their daughter, or somebody. Why? Because we want to bring back sports. And like I said, that's just my personal opinion. I'm more power to whatever anybody wants to do. This is a personal opinion. So I don't want everybody to be like, oh, pity you. Yeah, no, this is a personal opinion. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a lot. It's a lot to ask.
Yeah, it really is. And I'm over here. I'm definitely cheering for them. I want them to be successful. And if I got to choose between the men and the women, I'm gonna say that we gonna do it all the way to the end. And
And we
our
always do.
our commitment is definitely different. And even if they had a told, even if they hadn't have put a stipulation on there saying, listen, you guys can't go out, we wouldn't have went out. We would stick to our guns to make sure that it's successful. And looking at it, it's just so scary because I'm watching. Each team is differently, and there's a difference between having a younger coach. You have a young coach, and you have a coach that's at that in that gray area where they can possibly get sick. And so, I have a coach that's dear to me, Coach Stanley, that's over there, and
Yes.
she has to literally wear the gloves and the mask. If she not doubling up on the mask, or maybe has something inside the mask that's giving her a little extra protection, or she definitely has to be one of those people that has on that N95. There's
Yeah.
certain people that wear those little skimpy ones. Those younger kids will wear the skimpy ones. Um, but then you got people who have to, like them, like Tebow, and they have to have the N95 on. So she's got to sanitize every single ball after every use because she can't afford anything. So she's got to have this extra,
Yeah.
that she has to do with her team, where there's other teams that may have a younger coach and they're not paying as much attention to that. So, why don't we have the same masks all across the board? And I don't
Mhm.
see some people have on these little flimsy masks, and then some people have on better masks. We all have the same stuff on all across the board. We're following the same protocol across the board. You don't get to not sanitize your hands because you're younger,
Right.
or you're not in that category that could get sick. It's got to have this. We have to have the same,
Hmm.
protocol all across the board. And so, if we can clean that up, and when the girls get there tomorrow, I want them to get there and those rings are being placed on their finger like they're standing at the altar. Like I don't want to have it be where we're going into an environment and we don't have those rings. Why not? Listen, send me a ring. Get the former president with all the rings. Keep us all safe. If we're gonna set the stage and we're gonna be the precedent, we're gonna be the we're gonna set the bar, then damn it, let's set it high. Let's set it so that nobody else can even,
Hmm.
supersede it. But we got a lot of sports that are sitting around watching us. We got some people that are sitting around watching us, you guys, that are waiting for us to fail. We got people out here like us, of course we're gonna cheer for it, but there's people over there going, yeah, look at them idiots. Look at them, let them go in head first. Somebody's gotta go in head first.
Yeah.
Just like with this
Well,
COVID.
I
We
can.
got the second and the third wave. Somebody gotta go into each one of those waves head first. So we going into the first wave of trying it out. We're going in head first, Everybody's going to use this as a benchmark. We need this. We need to set the benchmark so high that it's like almost like, oh, they can't even do what we're doing. You know?
One thing I will say about the W, and I'll challenge all the men teams out there, that if anybody can pull it off, it's going to be the WNBA.
I'm telling you.
Because they are trying to do all that they can do with limited resources. Back to something that you said, Goody. I guarantee you the men got far more resources, got far more doctors over there, got far more everything than what the women got. We pulled off the virtual draft first, and we will pull off this first. And what happens in the WNBA, and they won't admit it on record, will be the standard for football, baseball, even though it started, all that. You know, because you're not going to get a better test model in trying to put things in place than what the WNBA is doing.
And this is
why, even though I would have been a player that opt out, I'm pulling for them 100% because the athletes, the organization, everybody tries to do the best that they can do over there. You know, and if anybody's going to make it, it will be the WNBA.
And I was going to say, when Goody was talking, that you all are trailblazers. You know, just look through history, right? Like, who else? No other big time athlete, you know, modern day, is going to skip a season to fight injustice. You know, shout out to Maya Moore, you know, and others. You know what I mean? LeBron, no disrespect, he's not going to do something like that. You know what I mean? In his prime. And I do agree that if no other organization is going to do it, it's going to be the WNBA, and you guys are the blueprint of it. And you know, like you said, others won't admit it, but you have been that. You know, just as an outsider looking in. That's why I admire you all so much. You know, because you do it with, like you said, limited resources. I mean, let's think about it. Almost 20 years deep. Well, no, 20 years deep. You know, that they were expecting. They didn't expect the WNBA to even be here. You know, this long. And I just want to touch on something Goody had mentioned about the marketing. I think, you know, that we touched on live stream. I think that's a great opportunity to build the organization, these lesser known players up, because again, the NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball are going to it's the old model, you know, cable, right? But how many people are cutting cable? You know, when you see G League games are on YouTube, what's that? The YouTube Live or whatever. It'll be a great. I don't know who's the person or people to pull it off, but it'll be great to have the WNBA game on Hulu Sports, YouTube, Apple TV, all that.
They were on Twitter you could watch the games last year on Twitter. So they were streaming games on different platforms. You know,
Okay.
The W did integrate that last year where some of the games you could find them on some of the social media platforms. They get in there.
Yeah, we need to, you know, I do remember that. We need to, you know, like it's not just up to you all. You know what I mean? We are in this all together. We have to market that even more and share it. You know what I mean? Like, because again, I work with tons of young ladies, you know, and they want somebody that they can identify with. I'm not able to give them that. You know what I mean? I can coach them, train them, whatever. But they're asking, oh, coach, this, that, and the third. Well, you know, like you said, It was on Twitter last year. All right. But how many of us knew that outside of, you see what I'm saying? And that's no
But
knock
then,
to anything.
I will say this, and not to interrupt you, but I want to say this because being a general manager and being a player in this league, and Goody and friend, you can say what you think after this. Here's my problem with, like you say, marketing and stuff, because the league do marketing and they talk about it. But if you take the NBA, when the men players are going to the NBA, their knowledge of the NBA and they know where they're going to a team and they know who they're going to have to compete against. But why at the lower level, everybody wants to coach women's basketball, but they're not exposing them and telling their players, even at a young age, hey, as opposed to playing a video game, turn on that WNBA TV. Let me print out what the WNBA schedule is and give it to you. Because as a general manager, it's frustrating when I get players from the college level and everybody say they wants to play in the WNBA, but they can't name me after 5 players, after your Maya, your Candace, your NECA. You can't even name the players when all the games are on TV now. You can find every WNBA game you want to find on TV. All the games on TV. Between ESPN, NBA TV, ESPN, W, like ESPN2, like 209 or DirecTV and 202. All the games on TV. But why aren't all the college coaches or high school coaches are saying, hey, the women are going to be on now. Let's go home and watch a game. Or before COVID-19, let's go watch a game collectively as a team and break down that WNBA game. Because the WNBA, I'm going to tell you something. That's one thing. They are putting the message out there. It's out there. Do they have to do a better job? No matter what you do, you're always going to have to do a better job. But I also say it's up to the consumer. It's up to these coaches. It's up to these moms and dads that know that their child inspired to get to the WNBA to say, hey, guess what? Let's sit down and watch a game. Because men know who they're going to play against. But there's so many women that come to the W and they don't know the product. And everybody be like, oh, the WNBA needs to do more. Help us. The WNBA been saying for years, help us. When you got a women's team, as far as I'm concerned, you have an obligation to say, guess what, as a team collectively, that the women are on this Saturday or Sunday, and guess what, as a team, we're going to sit and watch this league. Some things you have to invest in and you have to do yourself because there's only so much that the organization can do on its own. But everybody inspires to get there, but don't know the history. Don't know, only thing I want to play in the WNBA. Okay, can you name me anybody besides that 1 or 2 stars on the team? But if you get to a men's team, ask yourself. A lot of people can name you who's on the men's team. So some of this work is getting unfair in the backlash to the W when I'm saying, hey, you got to educate yourself now. You have no excuse because guess what? Just like you said, there's the internet. The W's always sending stuff out. When the men's NBA is at the end, we say the WNBA is coming, but people have to help us. No one entity can do everything. People got to help. You're coaching women. You have an obligation to expose them to this. You can tell me what you think, Fran, about what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
I think there's always men's sports. Men have always just been more celebrated athletes, so we know more money's going to pour into them. For marketing and all that great stuff. I think our sport has always been grassroots. We know that we played in college. We know that we had thousands of people watching us because women who ran our athletic department, Joan, what was Joan's last name? Italian, your coach.
Bonavicini.
Bonis, yeah, exactly. So Joan, those people were in the trenches. And I don't think that we're not championing our sport.
Yes.
At every level like we used to when we had to. And I think that's a part of it, but it's a matter of just doing better. And as to your point is like all these trainers who are training women and girls, definitely a part of your contract, if you're going to train my daughter, is that my daughter should be taken to a WNBA game at least 10 times a season. Like that's the level of accountability I believe we have to have of men who claim they support our game. Show me that you support it.
And I agree with both y'all. That's why I'm saying it's not on you all. It's all of us collectively. You know what I mean? And that's,
Great.
So
I mean, I don't have my glasses on, but cuz you kind of look like Snoop. Like, is it my eyes or is it your voice? I'm like, I'm just saying, cuz I don't have my glasses on, but your
Hey,
voice.
hey,
You know
Fred,
what? I
talk
get that
about
here
left
and
field.
there.
What's in that glass, Fred? Talk about left field. What is in that glass
That was my
that you're
second
drinking?
thing. My second
Hey,
thing was, am
Oh
I
my
the only one
God.
who's drinking my own? I'm out. Is this show
you
over? Because
Big,
I'm
your
out.
nickname is gonna be Snoop from now on.
look, hold up. I get that from time to time, but you're the only black person that ever asked me that. It's usually white people. Or tell me that, I should say. Hey, you
Oh
know you look like
my
Snoop. I'm like,
God. Oh my God.
Too funny. That's too funny. You know, you get to that age where the glasses start acting up. But listen, I got some really, you know, start squinting and be in denial. I went through that whole thing. I
Totally.
got readers on right now, so I tell you what, it happens. And we all try to defy nature, but it's all good. The best thing Margot Diedick told me is goody, goody, goody. Go get the laser, go get the laser. I said, Margot, I don't win this. She said, I'm telling you for the future. Go get the laser. Margot Diedick, that's my girl. God bless her. I tell you what, now you made me go into my phone, Penny, for some interesting facts because I'm really serious about this streaming, you know, and the streaming platforms, and we'll talk about this off the cuff. Okay, now we're gonna go to 2019 in the WNBA games by channel. Okay, now we have the 7 platforms. All right, you got League Pass, you got CBSSN, you got NBA TV, you got Twitter, which you mentioned, which ain't all that great, ESPN2, ABC, and ESPN. Now let me tell you what their numbers are, the numbers of games, okay, out of 100, okay? League Pass, showing 88 games. Thank you, League Pass. You're going to, of course, stream your own company's stuff.
Right. Right.
All right, that's the WNBA. CBS SN, 40 games. The NBA TV, 40 games. Twitter, 20. ESPN, 2, 11. ABC, 3. ESPN, 2.
And Goody, you gotta take this into account too. Those are the platforms that are national. The Sparks also carry every game on Spectrum. You
Mm-hmm.
have you have teams that have individual television contracts. Phoenix, Seattle, ourselves, just to name a few. And you know, we get resources from those channels. So the ones that you're talking about is what the league is doing. And because you notice Spectrum is not even on there. If you
Mm-hmm.
want to see every Sparks
Yeah,
game, you can
yeah.
all the Sparks games
What they do.
televised besides the ones that are national when you go to ESPN or if
Hmm.
NBA TV wants to do them. So that's where stuff is a little screwed because a lot of teams have individual television deals that are not mentioned in the resources or the research that you just
Absolutely.
shared with all of us.
And that is
Because you
literally
can
the
see every
graph.
Sparks game. You're going to see it on ESPN or you're going to see it on Spectrum.
Exactly. So it's
And then,
just
like I
like,
told you, that's why when they went to streaming on Twitter, and that's why I say the league is constantly. I gotta give them 2 thumbs up because they're always constantly trying to make sure that everybody's exposed to the WNBA. They get two
Mm-hmm.
thumbs up for that for me. And this is
Yep.
where
Yep.
every individual team, just like I'm asking everybody else to do some work to seek us out. Now they got to go out and get their own platforms because they can't do everything. But like I said, those are the national platforms. But you can see all the Sparks games. You can see all the Seattle games. You can see all of Phoenix. And if I were to dig a little deeper into some of the other teams, I'm sure they have some. They have their own television station that's broadcasting the game, just like New York. I forget what they're called. All their games were broadcasted. So it's just a different platform, but all the games are there for you to see.
Here, I have a quick question, you guys. Penny, if you were still with the Sparks or even with any team at this point during COVID, I think there's a huge opportunity for local businesses, regional, some of the, not the
Absolutely.
Coca-Colas or whatever, to be involved with these teams. That's a great way to get more exposure and more spotlights on the WNBA, is by letting smaller brands be your partner. So like I have a beverage coming out. I would reach out to every WNBA team, be like, let's do a deal. Now it's COVID. Like, come on, seriously, you know what I
Absolutely.
mean?
This is
You
revenue generating ideas
Yes,
coming up
exactly.
with, you know
So
what I'm
how
saying? And so,
do you
how much
do you
dealing?
know how much you could get done right now? You could get so much
Yes.
done, like what you're saying, reaching out to the smaller
Yep.
markets. If I can tell you right now, if I'm Carol Collins, who runs the Olympic team, and
Yep.
they have their pool of players, I'll be shooting all my content to get ready for the Olympics next year, because you're going to have time to do that as
Yep.
well. For 2021, because all the players now, you don't have to say, hey, what's your schedule? When can we fly you in to get this done? They're all right there. All the Nike athletes are right there. It's so much content that you can get ready for now. Even the league, even when this is over, for Halloween or Christmas or the New Year or going into the next season, you have all the players in one avenue. This is what I'm saying when I'm saying you're saving a lot of money.
Yeah.
You can have so many different marketing plans that you can have in the can and ready to roll out that it's unreal. And like what you're saying, reaching out to some of the smaller businesses to get a piece of it, because the games are going to be on TV.
Yep.
And guess what? The ratings are going to be through the roof because everybody wants sports to come back.
Yep.
Whatever you were selling for a commercial, now it doubles. And people are
Exactly.
going to pay it because people want to
Exactly.
see the product.
Yep.
And so this is why I say it's gonna be. I think this is gonna be business wise. They're gonna learn a lot.
Mhm.
I think. I just hope they take advantage of having all the players in one spot.
Yeah.
absolutely. And I just, it's just such a perfect opportunity, you guys. I get the more we talk about it, the more outlets, you see us on. You see outlets like Bleacher Report. You got the outlets like Slam. You got ESPNW. And the Athletic
But
covering the WNBA right now. So like all of these outlets that we could use just to and the more sponsors you're talking about, you hit it on the head with the local sponsors coming in.
Yep.
And this is what drove the WNBA in the beginning when it first started. These little smaller local companies, and then all of a sudden we get a little bigger and then we forget about that. Because you want to
Exactly.
have a certain amount of money to be invested in the league. We can have certain tiers of investments. We know how to do this, have certain tiers of investments for people.
Yep.
Okay. Just because they only have $50,000 don't mean that we don't want it.
That's right. I mean, think about it.
And minority
Think about how well
businesses.
the ABL
Minority businesses, thank you. How come how come Revlon ain't out here? How come
Yep.
Dark and Lovely isn't like it's predominantly black? The league is predominantly black. How come I don't see anybody on for Dark and Lovely? How
Yep.
come I don't see our products that are out there? Chemi oil. Come on,
Yep.
are we serious right now? Let's not talk about hair. All of the hair care products. I'm always wondering, like, why is it? What are these people doing over here in the WNBA? You know what I'm saying? I am inviting people. I am inviting you, Kathy
Yeah.
Engelberg.
Leaving
Kathy
a lot of money on the
you.
table. A lot
Okay?
of money on the table. Leaving
Okay,
millions on
Terry
the
Jackson.
table.
All of them. Terry Jackson, Kathy
And
Engelberg.
friend, talk about
Y'all can
millions.
all come on Sunday brunch, and we can sit there at the round table. We get you out of your situation overnight.
Right. Exactly.
Hold
I
on,
could
I want to say
literally.
this, friend. I want to say this one thing because I got to toot my horn to you. Talk about
Yeah.
millions. If they need someone to help them get millions, y'all need to hire a friend. Because
Listen, Fran right over there. Come on
Fran
now,
done went
Fran.
and got $1 million for her own program. She done went and
Fran
getting
is a whole
millions of
separate
dollars for her
show.
own program so she can go and help them get some millions. So, Fran, I want to say, hey, I know your work, girl. I know your work, and you've
Right.
done incredible work getting your program funded for millions. Maybe you need to go over there and give a little blueprint on how you do it. You know?
You know what I'm saying? It's like it's out there. We are
Yeah.
educated. We are educated. We don't leave school early so that we can go and make millions. We get our degrees,
Yeah.
we got our masters, we have our PhDs. We're lawyers out there, graduating marketing all the way to whatever it is that you need. We know we're in high places, and so I just think that it's just a meeting of the minds. We need to have a serious meeting of the minds, and just not a meeting of the minds that you want to be sitting in that table. If you really want to get some stuff done, we really got to have a meeting of the minds of the people that really are going to be able to get it done. And that's the
W,
bottom line. I said,
W,
and
we
I'm
can
gonna
hook you up. We can hook you up. We can hook you up. Like,
silly, y'all silly. We got the godma over there, and tell you, bottom line is, I always, like I say at the, winding down towards the end of the show, always, let each person that's on the panel give, their final take, and whatever that may be, whatever it is that you want to speak to, in a positive light about all of these things. If it could be words of encouragement to the kids that are out there, that are going to be starting the season tomorrow. Attention is going to be high tomorrow, Godma.
mm,
Tension's gonna be high tomorrow, Godma. You might want to give them some tips on what they got to do,
yeah.
because bottom line is going into that training camp. It's gonna be on an all-time high. The nerves are gonna be crazy. Be an absolute great time, like we already talked about. They're gonna definitely need some people in there for some mental health issues, because it's gonna be crazy. And I just, like I said, I give them all of my love and encouragement to get through this time, because it's tough times. I know for me, I'm on pins and needles, and I don't even have to go into the bubble, but I'm on pins and needles for people that I know that are going into the bubble, and I want them to be safe. So, we're gonna start off with the champ, because you came in first. Champ is here. With the
In my
champ is
comments
here.
red. I'm wearing my comments red.
Bling,
Um,
bling, 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 blinging, and pinky ringing.
some blings and rings and things. But I would just say, I told this story yesterday. I was in a conversation and I said, when I was at Texas, the first year, I hadn't been playing basketball that long, and I was having trouble with conditioning. And my coach finally just said, stop looking at the clock, stop wondering which place you're coming in, and just run. So that stuck with me. That's what I took into the WNBA. That's what I took into business. Like, sometimes you just got to forget about all the distractions, the COVID, and all the stuff that you think you don't have, and just put your head down and run. Like, it is such a metaphor for success in life. Sometimes you're not going to know how things are going to work out. You're not going to know whether you're going to get the funding that you think you're going to. Sometimes you just got to do the work and just put your head down and run. That's what I did. It worked out. And I got a couple rings because of that whole mentality. So that's my words of encouragement to all of us. It's for me too. Like, sometimes I'm like, God, when am I gonna get out of this? Like, I haven't driven since March 8th. I'm like I'm quarantined, literally. I'm like, just put your head down and run. Like, I'm still getting deals done because I'm not backing up. I'm not retreating and going, oh, woe is me. Like, when am I going to get to do this? Where's my car? Like, all that. I'm just like, let me see how many deals I can get done in my room. Let me see how many deals I can get done on the internet. Let me see how many things I can help people with by doing, you inviting me on. I get to support people, help people, see people that I love and respect. You can get some stuff done, y'all, but you just got to put your head down. You got to put your head down and run.
Absolutely. I agree with you. You know what I'm saying? And in the words of the tramp, run, Forrest, run!
Love it. Yes.
Yes. Come on, Vid. Give us some closing thoughts.
Come on, Snoop.
I just say, just be conscious of others. We're in this together. You know what I mean? So that means, fighting for justice, this corona thing and everything else. Just take care of your well-being and think about other people's well-being. That's all I got to say.
Absolutely.
Good word.
Compassion. Compassion. Being considerate. Consideration really is important. It's gone out the window, you guys. You just think about, in the very beginning of the COVID, how we would see all of these scenes of old people standing to the side crying because people were knocking them out of the way just to get some toilet paper, which wasn't even something that we needed to have. It doesn't create diarrhea, you guys. What are you doing? I understand with the paper towels, you wiping off everything, crazy, alcohol and everything up, but toilet paper, come on, dude. That's not even a reaction to to when you get sick. So it's crazy. So, common decency, all of these things that have gone out. So that's great conversation. And of course, we always save the godmother for last because she did it big. Bring us home.
Well, first, friend, it is awesome to see you. Haven't seen
You
you in
too.
years. I applaud all the great work you've been doing with your business. So I want to say hats off to
Yeah.
that. And my final thought is this: I'm going to always champion the W. I know they're going to do it right. They're going to do it
Mhm.
well. And like I said earlier, they are going to do it, and they will be the model for all the other sports to be successful. So I'm looking forward to them having a successful season. I wish all the players and coaches good luck and good health. And I'm going to be here cheering. So I want to say when tomorrow comes, players, please do your part. Let's have a successful season and let us women show the men how to do it.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Word.
Absolutely.
Word.
Absolutely. And I'm sure that's exactly what we are going to do. We are definitely going to show the men how to do it. We always do. I say we are the vehicle through which everything enters into this earth. So we are the most powerful on the planet. So if anybody wants to argue that, you're more than welcome to. We got Fran Thea Price out there. And she's saying that you're cracking her up right now. So we got some WNBA players out there that are definitely following us and, looking, at us. And so we are definitely a model for a lot of other people, especially those who are trying to come up with their own podcasts and their own shows. And I give you all the strength and encouragement to do that because, we're out here and we have set the stage for the young ladies to come so that they can have all of the things that we didn't have the opportunity to get. And you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. So we keep it grinding. We're the leaders out here. And so, I just, like I said, I'm always appreciative of you guys being on the show. And to all of the people out there, especially for our podcast, if you have Google Podcast, download us. You got Spotify, download us. You got Breaker, download us. You got Overcast, download us. You got Pocket Cast, download us. You got Radio Public, download us. You got Anchor FM, download us. And if you got the podcast on your Apple phone, download us. It gets bigger, okay? And we don't get big without you guys. Like I said, Sammy Sosa, I love you to death. I love you to life. Put it that way. And in the famous words of the champ, run, Forrest, run.
Crazy. Thanks, y'all.
By
Thank you.
Facebook
And
Live.
to all you guys, I'm going to leave you with the last thing. I'll see you later. Bye, friend.
Keep bringing and blinging.
It's a wrap. It's a
Bye,
wrap.
friend.
Never forget your first. You never forget your first. Okay.
You're right.
Bye, y'all.
Houston versus LA Sparks in the house. I love you. Don't forget who dethroned you over there.
It don't matter, boo boo. It don't matter. It don't matter, boo boo.
Out the box. Y'all had the ring. We came and gave y'all a business. That's how you got your first ring anyway, LA.
Oh my God.
Goody. It's okay, boo boo. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Penny, we're gonna start a loan a ring plan, or a loan a ring program, so we can loan out the ring for people who didn't win one.
Oh, that is
I'm with you, champ. I'm with you, champ. I'm with you on that. I'm 100% with you on that, champ.
That is an essential business during COVID, loaning out rings to people who didn't get one.
All right, y'all talk all the junk that you want about them rings. The only ring that has any value today in 2020 is the COVID-19 ring. I'm going to see y'all later.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Sosa. Holla back.